Good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening to you, my friends. Whatever time of day it is you are watching this video on whatever means of technology is available to you. On Saturday, September 27th, 2025, I went along with my friends at the Metropolitan New York Bus Association chapter of the Motor Bus Society on a trip to Pennsylvania, our final trip of the calendar year 2025. We met up before 8 a.m. and caught our bus right in front of the New York Times building between 40th and 41st Streets on 8th Avenue. And here is our bus, an Academy Bus Line's brand new 2025 Mercedes-Benz Tour Rider, bus number 7535. I was impressed with the bus, to say the least. It felt like a bit of an upgrade from the previous buses we used. No disrespect intended to our friends at Coach Tours, their buses were always really good. We left around 8 a.m. and headed to New Jersey via the Lincoln Tunnel. We traveled down I-495 and I-78 to Clinton, New Jersey, where we stopped off to pick up a few more people. After our pickup, we then headed to our first destination, which was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We began at the Lehigh and Northampton Transportation Authority's Allentown Transportation Center, at which we arrived at about 10 minutes to 10 a.m. The Lehigh and Northampton Transportation Authority, or LANTA, founded in 1972, is the public transit agency that runs bus service in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley, namely Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton. And here was the first bus that awaited us when we arrived, bus 7326. This is a 1973 General Motors Corporation, or GMC, T6H-4523A, or a new-look bus. About 99.9% of bus enthusiasts refer to these as a fishbowl. The T stands for a transit bus, as opposed to a suburban model which has softer seats for longer rides. The 6 refers to a Detroit diesel 6-cylinder engine. The H refers to a hydraulic or automatic transmission. As for the 4523, this refers to a 35-foot bus. Listen, it's a weird numbering system GM used. What do you want me to tell you? While the A means that it is an air-conditioned bus. Yes, there were some of these without air conditioning, believe it or not. If I'm not mistaken, every single one of these built before the late 1960s did not have air conditioning. If you want to fact check me on that, you can do so. All right, what do you say we take a nice ride on this baby down to the Allentown Fairgrounds?
Well, you know what I like about riding a fishbowl? No matter, even when I was a kid, there's always something about this that I always like touching it. I don't know why, but there's always something soft. Yeah, soft. Soft. Oh man, that was about 5 gallons of fuel and we only went 20 feet. They're all Gilly, yeah. Well, no, they still have hybrids. The 13s are just about done. The 14s are still on, and the 2016s. Yeah. nice ride. You know, one of the things I love about riding this bus is, even though, like many places, it used to be an everyday staple in life, but now that it's so rare, when people look at it, they're like, "Ooh, look at that bus." Becomes a real head turner, and before you know it, you got the phones coming up, taking pictures.
Well, you should have been with us. I think it was earlier this year when we went up to Yonkers in the old one. People were coming out from everywhere.
Oh, that was the Liberty Lines bus? Yeah. I saw videos of that, but I didn't know it.
People came out of the woodwork.
Well, you know, it's something when it even brings you out of the woodwork.
I gotta think of something.
He lived too close though. Couldn't miss that.
Yeah. I live next door, but still, you know, the opportunity was there.
I got there that morning. I come down off the subway. We're sitting there.
Yeah.
He's sitting there.
Who, me? Not me.
You come up to the Berks next time, see me.
Listen. I don't know if I want to come up to the Bronx.
Neither do I.
But no worries, I still know where you live.
Yeah, I don't have a hunter anymore, so.
Well, that didn't scare me. It was your dog. It was your neighbors. That was kind of like why I asked you if you've been out more around lately. You know, with not having hunter.
Yeah.
I know it's still rough, but
It is. I still feel it. I'll tell you.
I started there. We didn't have automatics there, except for the old ones. We had old ones. We had K300s. We had some J300s. They were used for school buses because University of New York didn't have buses. So public service ran the buses in school. But we got the Z's and the U's and the X's when Western got closed. Then we had automatics. Before that,
Yeah.
almost the majority of the garage was stick. Stick
no,
fishbowls,
and
gas,
the original seats too.
These are original?
Yeah.
Yeah, Union City didn't exactly have buses until Western got closed. They had some old school, just used for trailers at school. But also, the garage was not packed. When they closed West New York, the garage was packed. Took up every square inch to park a bus.
It's like that whenever it's large close and they go in.
When closed West New York, it's not all that stuff in the city. By 10 o'clock at night, you gotta have all your buses in the shop on the pit because they have to let the workshop buses. And you couldn't get back on the pit until 6 in the morning. The only saving grace was the 3 pits that faced New York Avenue. Sometimes they weren't available, that you could use them in the nighttime. But we also had the pit and gas out there, we used to have a pit and a left. It was great, we did a great assessment.
1973.
Yep.
Like 10 o'clock, we started.
Serial number 926, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Work on that night, 9:45, nothing back the other pit, because that was it. We weren't getting all of the pit till after 6 in the morning.
Downtown Fairgrounds. figures we can't go on a bus trip without Dino needing to stop for ice cream.
Oh, hey, that's part of the thing. We have to stop for ice cream.
Not Pocono.
I'm terrible. I gotta have ice cream.
Glenn, Mount Pocono.
Mount Pocono. Remember, we used to stop there all the time for ice cream.
You know what I always like about the Poconos? Whose nose you gonna poke?
I just remember my first trip for many years was we want to stop at Mount Pocono.
Yeah.
Never where we were. We
Yeah,
went to
always
Mount
must stop at Mount Pocono for ice cream.
Oh, thanks. I'll have a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
I could go for some our famous ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, no traps. I hate that. I just hate them wrapping over the You're right.
I eat it for breakfast every day.
Oh yeah.
Are they open, really? Yeah, I see.
And so here we are at the Allentown Fairgrounds. This is your typical fairgrounds where special shows and even farmers markets are held every now and then. We simply came here for a nice photo stop. Here are some more pictures of 7326. Okay, so now we find ourselves back at the Allentown Transportation Center, where we said goodbye to 7326, and then took some photos of Lanta's modern-day equipment. Lanta's modern-day buses are all powered by compressed natural gas, or CNG. We begin with one of their newest buses, 2478 in 104 service. This is a 2024 40-foot low-floor natural gas model. All of Lanta's modern-day buses are Gillig models. Those of you who hate Gilligs, this is going to be a very disappointing video for you. I'm just saying. Here we have bus 1727, a 2017 35-foot low-floor Gillig CNG in 102 service going towards the Lehigh Valley Hospital. 2160 is a 2020 35-foot low-floor CNG Gillig. This one is in 210 service, which serves shopping malls at both ends. The South Mall in Allentown and the Lehigh Valley Mall in Whitehall Township. So our next stop was our lunch stop over in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. We stopped off at the Pottsville Center at about 11:45. They do have a decent selection of places to eat here, such as Arby's, Red Lobster, Auntie Anne's, Subway, a Mexican restaurant, and a Wendy's. I chose Wendy's, and since I wanted to save room for dinner, since I don't eat anywhere near as much as I used to because I don't ever want to be big again, I decided to just have a vanilla Frosty. I hadn't had a Frosty since George W. Bush was president. Nothing like ice cream to soothe one's stomach, no? Not long after, we reached our next destination at High and North Hanover Streets in Pottstown for some bus photos. The bus service in this area is provided by Pottstown Area Rapid Transit, or PART. This is bus 51, a 2019 Gillig, yes, Gillig, 35-foot BRT, or Bus Rapid Transit Series. This bus is running in Green Line service. The bus routes in Pottstown, much like subway routes in some cities, are color-coded. Here we got bus 58 in Yellow Line service. This is a 2021 35-foot Gillig BRT model. 52, another 2018 Gillig BRT, this one in Purple Line service. On to our next destination. At about 1:45 p.m., we made it to the Berks Area Regional Transportation Authority Transportation Center on South 8th and Franklin Streets in Reading, Pennsylvania. The Berks Area Regional Transportation Authority, or BARTA, was created in the early 1970s to replace the old Reading Bus Company. As of 2010, BARTA is now overseen by Berks County instead of the city of Reading. Here we've got bus 2003. This is a 2020 Gillig hybrid electric BRT model. As of this recording, all of BARTA's buses are hybrid, and they're all Gillig. See? I told all you Gillig haters. 1808 is a 2018 Gillig 40-foot BRT hybrid. This one in 17 service going to the Penn State Health St. Joseph Medical Center. 1804, this is a 2018 35-foot Gillig BRT hybrid in 9 service. This is bus 1903 in 10 service. This is a 2019 35-foot Gillig BRT hybrid electric. 1902 in 16 service, another 2019 35-foot Gillig BRT. The 16 route terminates at Broadcasting Square, which is an outdoor shopping center. 2002, this is a 2020 40-foot Gillig BRT hybrid. Only 2 of these were ordered. Now take a look at this. This is 2301. This is a 2023 Gillig 40-foot low-floor hybrid Advantage model. Only 4 of these were ordered, and they are, at the time of this recording, the newest of BARTA's fleet. 1811, another 35-foot Gillig hybrid BRT, which was made in the year 2018. 2104, this is a 2021 35-foot Gillig low-floor Advantage. Here's 2002 again, the 2020 40-foot BRT. 2201 in 14 service, this is a 2022 40-foot Gillig hybrid Advantage. And here we have 1809, another 2018 35-foot Gillig hybrid BRT. Here's 2301, the 2023 Advantage, now going into 1 service. Here we have 1812, a 2018 Gillig 35-foot hybrid BRT in 16 service with a Spanish language wrap ad. 2004, a 2020 35-foot Gillig BRT hybrid. 1918, this is a 2019 Gillig BRT 35-foot hybrid. 2003, a 35-foot Gillig BRT hybrid made in the year 2020. Here we see 1811 again, the 2018 hybrid BRT entering 18 service. Here's 1918 again, a 2019 Gillig BRT, which is now in 20 service. And here we have a better shot of 1812 with the Spanish language wrap. By the way, that wrap reads, "Help keep our city clean all year long." And this is the Santander Arena in Reading. This is the home of the East Coast Hockey League's Reading Royals, which is an affiliate of the Philadelphia Flyers. The ECHL is 2 tiers below the NHL in terms of professional level. At about 10 minutes before 3 p.m., we arrive at our next destination at the outer station of the Reading and Northern Railroad. The Reading, Blue Mountain and Northern Railroad is a regional freight railroad in eastern Pennsylvania. The Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway does run passenger excursions along the tracks of the Reading and Northern to and from Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, we didn't stay long enough to see a passenger train, but we did get some photos. This is 1541, a 1977 MP-15 locomotive made by Electromotive Diesel, or EMD, which at the time was a subsidiary of General Motors. This locomotive used to belong to the old Southern Railway, which later became Norfolk Southern and was numbered 2353. 1540 was another 1977 EMD MP-15. Like 1541, this locomotive also used to belong to the Southern Railway and Norfolk Southern, where it was numbered 2350. It is now 10 minutes to 4 p.m., and we find ourselves at the Reading Railroad Heritage Museum in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. This museum, operated by the Reading Company Technical and Historical Society, is only open on weekends and has a collection of locomotives and rail cars. Here we've got locomotive 621. This is a 1953 electromotive diesel GP7. This engine also belonged to the now defunct Maryland and Pennsylvania Railroad, where it was numbered 86. 5308. This is a 1967 C630 locomotive built by the American Locomotive Company, or ALCO. From 1901 to 1969, ALCO was a huge name in American locomotives. To the left of 5308, we've got 6300. This is a 1967 General Electric U-30C, or U-boat, as they used to call them. GM built these roughly between the mid-1960s and the mid-1970s. Here we've got a real oldie. This is 103, a 1947 EMD NW2 locomotive. The last of these were built in the year 1949. 5513 is a 1962 EMD GP30. General Motors and EMD built these in the early 1960s. Here we've got 900. This is a 1950 EMD FP7 locomotive. These were used for both passenger and freight service. Here we've got locomotive 678. This is a 1963 electromotive diesel SW1200 engine. This last belonged to the Stockton Terminal and Eastern Railroad in California. It also once belonged to Pacific Harbor Lines, the Louisville and Indiana Railroad, where it was numbered 9319 for both, and it was numbered 2719 when it was owned by the Reading Company. This is locomotive 3412, a 1974 EMD GP39-2. EMD developed these between the mid-1970s and the mid-1980s. They were very popular for most freight railroads. And here we have a former Reading Company caboose, 92832. And here are some interior shots of 92832. This is former Reading Railcar 90847. This was later used for air brake training. Another former Reading caboose, 94074. Oh my God, we've got more buses. Here is 678. This is a 1960 GMC TDH-3714, or Old Look, a 30-foot bus that used to belong to the Reading Bus Company, which was the predecessor of the Berks Area Regional Transportation Authority. 923 is a retired 1975 GMC New Look, or Fishbowl, a T6H-4523A, just like Lanta's 7326. 911, this is another retired bought a 1975 GMC Fishbowl. So we left the museum at about 20 minutes to 5 p.m. A matter of minutes later, we arrived at our dinner stop at the Blue Mountain Family Restaurant in Charlottesville, Pennsylvania. This is one part of Berks County I would definitely consider moving to after I retire from New York City Transit. That is, if I don't choose Florida. Anyway, here's what I ate. First, we begin with a tomato soup. Next, we have the main course, a New York strip steak with some crispy onion rings on top. And some fries, too. And now for dessert. Apple pie a la mode. It was good, but I think I would have loved it more if the pie was warmer. Not complaining, but just saying. So we then headed home and returned to New York City at about 9:30 p.m., and this concludes this presentation of our September trip to Pennsylvania. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.